knowledge from all of them. So once again, I would like to welcome you all to vOrientation, which is a concept devised by Division Q and an initiative taken by VirtuoMasters Club. Remember, Division Q belongs to the awesome District 41. A huge round of applause, please. Now that we are in the virtual medium, virtual applause is the in thing, and with probably just the unmuted members applauding. Okay. We are all at a point in time, we are all used to some sort of a magic. And usually magic begins with something new. Every day you have a new sunrise, you look forward to that, the magic of a sunrise. You look forward to the magic of a moonrise. You look forward to the birth of a new child. And anything new is always depicted with something magical. Now, in order for the magic to happen, you need a magician, right? In nature, the magician obviously is the Lord Almighty. Whereas in reality, we also have magicians who make things happen. In Toastmasters, these magicians are our mentors. They are our guide, friend, philosopher, whatever you may call them. But they will make sure that you enjoy every journey, every step of your journey as a Toastmaster. And this is exactly what vOrientation is all about today. Before we proceed with the orientation, I would like to first state out a few rules that we have. Everywhere you need a set of rules, otherwise the magic cannot happen. In the virtual medium as well, we have a new set of rules. So first, I would like to bring to your notice that do not unmute yourself. The host will definitely mute because we do not want any sort of disturbance while the orientation is taking place. So do not unmute yourself, and unless and until it is your turn to speak. And if at all you are required to speak, if there is some sort of an interaction, you will be unmuted at that point of time. Do not write anything inappropriate on the chat box. Dear members and guests, this is a sincere request because it is a form of distraction. If your video is on, and we would request you to kindly keep it on to make it as an encouragement for the speaker. If your video is on, kindly make sure that you are in a sitting and in an upright position and maintain the basic etiquette. Please do not keep turning off and turning on your video while the speaker is on the virtual podium. It tends to be very distractive. We do not talk about sex, religion, or politics in derogatory manner. And last but not the least, we have to keep our mobile phones in a switched off or a silent mode. Also, since we are all in the virtual medium and in the comfort of our offices or our homes, kindly make sure that there is no background sounds or music or whatever. Even though you will be in a mute mode, there are chances of distraction. So thank you so much for adhering and listening to these rules. Before we proceed, I would like to take some time out to introduce the next person. Every meeting, or if not a meeting, every event has to have a master of ceremony, a host which is going to take you through the entire meeting. Now, this wonderful lady is a magician in this respect. She is adept in any way, any sort of hosting. She will make sure that you enjoy every step of the way. This Toastmaster is a veteran Toastmaster. She has been in Toastmasters for a very long time, even before she came over here to India. And she is one dedicated lady. She is a friend, philosopher, a guide, a go-to person. She's very compassionate. She will make sure that she can mentor you as a Toastmaster or just be your friend and lend a ear to listen to any problems that you have with Toastmastering. So with a huge round of applause, I would like to welcome Toastmaster Panna Ray as the Master of Ceremony for today's vOrientation. A round of applause, please.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Seema. That was a wonderful introduction. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to vOrientation, and a special warm welcome to all the district officials who are present with us today. vOrientation is an orientation event organized by VirtuoMasters Club in association with Division Q. This will be an enriching session for not only the new Toastmasters, but also the more experienced Toastmasters, as it might highlight some of the nuances of Toastmastering which they might have missed. This event is the brainchild of Toastmaster Sheetal Kumar, the Vice President membership of VirtuoMasters Club. And when I asked Toastmaster Sheetal to explain the idea behind the event, he said, and I quote, "The third value of Toastmasters is service. And as a Vice President membership, it is my duty to orient the new members of our club and also facilitate the same to the new members of other clubs who may have doubts regarding their journey." Wow. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Sheetal. You're indeed a servant leader and an inspiration to others. Can we have a big round of applause for him, please, with the reaction button or just on the video? Friends, today we have with us 4 amazing mentors and guides, our magicians, like Toastmaster Seema mentioned. They are going to share their vast knowledge gained throughout the Toastmasters journey with us. They are none other than distinguished Toastmaster Ruddra, distinguished Toastmaster Shayak, distinguished Toastmaster Satyadeep, and distinguished Toastmaster Iron. Wow, we are in for a treat today, right? Our first session is going to be about the rich history of Toastmasters, the importance of mentoring, the 4 club contests, and the DCP points needed to help our club reach its pinnacle. Now, let me introduce you all to the distinguished Toastmaster who is going to bring the session alive for us. He has been a Toastmaster for more than 6 years. And in those 6 years, he's attended more than 400 meetings across the country, in person and virtually. He has conducted many workshops, spoken on more than 150 table topics, and given almost 70 evaluations. He has also delivered more than 40 speeches from the manuals, and that is why he got the title of Distinguished Toastmaster. So who am I talking about? It's none other than the tall and charming Toastmaster, who is the immediate past district humorous speech champion of District 41 and the present division director of Division Q. Let us all welcome with a round of applause with the reaction button our first coach for today, distinguished Toastmaster Ruddra Roychoudhury. The virtual podium is yours, sir.
Thank you so much, Panna, for that wonderful introduction. And welcome all of you, both new and experienced Toastmasters, to this orientation. I hope that at the end of the meeting, we all take back something of value from our own mutual experience of Toastmasters. So I was asked to talk about the history of Toastmasters, about the basics of beginning with Toastmasters, like mentoring, like the Distinguished Club program, like the contests. But before that, let me tell you a very commonly known joke. The Toastmasters is the best kept secret in this world, because nobody knows what Toastmasters is, not even the members. Most of the times that is true because they have not attended vOrientation like we have today. But today you will not be going back without the knowledge of what Toastmasters is. I will try to tell you the essence of Toastmasters. I will not go to a lot of technicals because anyway you will lose out on those with time. And you should gain those with time, with context, and with the reference at which they benefit. So instead of telling you that Toastmasters started in 1924 at some basement in California, it doesn't matter. What matters is how I began my journey of Toastmasters. I know a lot of you have begun in the same way. So I went to a Toastmasters meeting when I was in college. My college had a club in 2012. And I went there. I also spoke as a guest on stage. And then I came back. A lot of people gave me good recommendations, but I decided not to join. You know why? Because when I asked my friend who was a Toastmaster, what do I need to do to join? They told me that I had to pay 4,000 rupees to join. And at that, now you may have paid more because at that time the membership was cheaper. But I told them 4,000 rupees just to speak. I can speak for free. Why should I pay so much money for it? And that is the time I wished somebody had told me that it is not just a speaking club. Toastmasters has so much more in value. Toastmasters has leadership program. Toastmasters leadership programs. Toastmasters is a social circle. It's a creative outlet. There are so many facets to Toastmasters. When I joined TCS, I joined Toastmasters because, again, I thought it was a better investment because TCS was reimbursing my fees. And then when I joined Toastmasters, I took up so many roles and I became a more experienced speaker, a more established speaker and a leader. It started to impact my personal life, my professional life in many ways. And today I know the value of Toastmasters. Now that is a success story you see in every motivational speech. First I was useless, then I found something, in this case it's Toastmasters, and now I am successful. So you should join Toastmasters. But this is not a sales pitch. So I will not tell you a lie. I will tell you the truth. The Toastmasters will not do anything for you unless you do something for yourself. It's difficult to understand because I don't know what your VP membership told you when they made you a member, that you come here and you'll become Barack Obama within a week or a Martin Luther King Jr. in a month. It could be, I don't know. But to tell you the truth, he was correct in a way. He was correct in a way, and I'm sure that some of you would have been told that you also need to spend a lot of time and your effort on it. Now, friends, I want to give you a small analogy of a gym. I know that analogies of a gym coming from me are not appropriate, but that's okay. For the sake of our discussion, let's consider the analogy of a gym. Now, imagine you have a gym membership for 6 years, and all those 6 years, you never go to the gym. Do you think you will be fitter than you were 6 years ago? Now you can answer on the chat if you want. Why by yes, Y for yes and N for no, if you want to interact. Next question to you is, suppose you go to the gym every day, but you never use any of those machines, you never listen to any of the instructors, and you just go and click selfies. Do you think you will be fitter than you were 6 years ago? I see a lot of N's, and one person wrote N, so 3 times no. I am sure that you are getting the idea now. Toastmasters is in a way similar. Even though it is a transformative experience, their work needs to be put in to get that transformation. Some people would say that if I am doing all the work, then why Toastmasters? I can do it at home as well. Here's the thing, you can exercise at home as well. But why do people go to the gym to exercise? Because they get the equipment, they get the guidance, they get a social circle of other fitness enthusiasts. In Toastmasters, you get the equipment in form of the Pathways program that Shayak will come up with next. You get a social circle of other Toastmasters who are pursuing excellence. You get mentors who are going to be similar to gym instructors. And that is how you take things forward. If I take a chemistry analogy, because chemistry was one of my favorite subjects, you remember in a reaction, there used to be 2 important things to carry out the reaction. One was the reactants, another was the catalyst. Do not think of Toastmasters as the reactants. The reactant is you. And whether you react with the catalyst or not is your choice, but Toastmasters is the catalyst. And I will tell you today on how you can perform different reactions. So the reaction number 1 is come and attend a tabletop, come and attend a Toastmasters session, participate in it by either speaking on a table topic, giving an evaluation, playing a small role. Since you're all new members, you have to start small. I know your VP educations will take you in the right direction. I know many of you as members or as guests have already participated in a table topic and you've seen the transformation that you have seen. It is important to take those in our stride. Reaction number 2 is taking the help of your mentors and of your VP educations, reaching out reactants, and you have to get the reaction happening with the help of the catalyst. In this case, it is your mentors. They are going to help you get better because they have the experience, they have the knowledge, they have treaded the path that you are starting off with. And that is how you begin. And catalyst number 3 is to take part in the initiatives that you want to learn from. Few of the initiatives I can talk about is, one of them was on the agenda. If you're wondering what contests are a huge, huge opportunity to learn many skills and not just speaking skills. Few of you may know, but let me tell you, there are 4 forms of contests that happen in our district, District 41. This year, what will happen? We may have 3, we may have 4. The news will be out very shortly, within a day or 2. But there are 4 forms predominantly. First is the humorous speech contest, where we learn how to connect with the audience emotionally through humor. Understand, it is not just about making people laugh. It is about learning how to create a connection. Second is a table topics contest. You already may have spoken about table topics or have seen table topics. It is the art of practicing impromptu speaking. Third is the evaluation contest, where you learn the art of giving effective feedback. And finally, the daddy of all contests in Toastmasters, the international speech contest. It is not a contest where you have to give speeches about other countries. It is not about that. It is about a contest that helps you speak to an international audience if you are capable enough. That contest has 6 levels, starting from the club level, area level, division level, district level, the world semifinals, and finally the world finals, where more than 2,000 people give you 7 minutes of their time of their lives to listen to the message that you are about to deliver. But why participate in those contests? What is in it for you? Friends, if you have run a marathon, you will know the benefit of running a marathon is not for someone else. Even if you come 500th among 3,000 people or among 600 people, does not matter. It matters to you that you took the journey to prepare for the marathon and you are today fitter because you took the stride, the first step to participating in a marathon. Contests are somewhat similar. Contests start at the club level. Very soon you will be starting off with the club level contests of each and every club. And we'll start with the humorous and evaluation contests if they happen, if the humorous happens. But we will start with that. And there, the VP educations and the club presidents will encourage you to take a jab at it, to give it a try, because if you don't try, you won't gain. When you go through the club level, you reach the area level where the winners reach the area level, and then the winners from the area level reach the division level, where you speak to almost 100 people at once. From the division level, you get to the district level, where you speak to about 300 people at once. Humorous speech contests, evaluation contests, and table topics contests are limited to the district. But again, like I said, the international speech contest goes to the world finals. Why try, you would think? Why take the attempt? Because you would see in the poster that I gave that the master has failed more times than the apprentice has ever tried. And that is a very favorite quote of mine. The trying and trying and trying is what gets you to success. Today, I would like you to understand that all the aspects of Toastmasters, everything there is that I'm going to talk about and everyone else is also going to talk about, are only multipliers to your own efforts. If you don't take the effort, then it's very difficult to get value out of Toastmasters. Now, I have a small question to all of you that I asked our tech master, and she generously helped us get that in the form of a Zoom poll. So Mridula, if you are there, I would request you to please launch a poll, a very simple question to all the Toastmasters here for their response. So the question is, which speaking skill do you want to learn first? Very basic speaking skills: inspiration, persuasion, negotiation, or compassion. You can start giving responses to it, and maybe at the end of 30 seconds, we can close the poll, or maybe when we have a majority of the votes of people in this room. So I leave the decision to you, Mridula, but please read very carefully. Which skill do you want to develop first in your journey of Toastmasters? We will be closing the poll soon, so please vote. Let us wait 10-15 more seconds, and then we can close the poll. Think about it very carefully. What is the most important skill of yours that you want to learn? So if we have had the majority of people voting, Mridula, can you please close the poll and publish the results to everyone? There's an option to publish it to everyone so that everyone can see. As you can see, as I expected, everyone wants to be an inspirational speaker. Inspiration is at the top. Then comes persuasion, then compassion, or compassion and persuasion are very close to each other. And finally comes negotiation. But friends, today I will tell you again, I will dispel a myth for you. We all look to be inspirational speakers because those are the speakers we see. We see Dhananjay Hetirachi as one of the champion speakers who gave a world final speech. We see maybe Sandeep Maheshwari, who is again an inspirational speaker. We see so many other politicians who inspire us, change our lives. So many actors give inspirational movies, and we want a stadium full of people with whom we can share our life stories. But those are only a few of the people you see. Most of the successful speakers who have mastered the art of communication never get up on a stadium and share their life stories. They transform people's lives one by one, every day, little by little. And I would not have been able to give you this incident if I had not had 4 conversations since my morning. So in the morning, one of the area directors of another district, she called me up in distress and told me that there was lots of work she was getting and she was not able to manage her work. There was many responsibilities she wanted to take up, but again, she did not have the time. She was about to quit Toastmasters because of that extra burden, because she was not able to balance work and Toastmasters. At that point, I knew what the problem she had, because I had the exact same problem when I was an area director. I told her that I relate to you, and I gave her a few tips on how to delegate, how to prioritize, how to negotiate with others. And most importantly, I told her that she's not alone. She can reach out to me or other people whenever she needs to. The skill of compassion, even though I did not inspire her, made her life better. An hour later, I got a call from my manager asking me to delegate some of the work to one of my subordinates and change the course or the direction of his work. And I could have said yes, and if I were not in Toastmasters, I probably would have. But during that 1-hour conversation, I was able to speak to him and help him understand, negotiate with him the next plan for the future, by telling him what is the best course, and he finally agreed with my philosophy, and we did not have to change anything. The art of negotiation on that day saved the direction and a lot of repetition of work for me. An hour later, one of the speakers today called me with a concern that today, the way the agenda is designed, we may not have time to cover everything and do justice to this program. Around that time, we had to think critically and work out together, and I had to use the powers of persuasion I learned in Toastmasters to help both of us take the right direction. And because I had those 3 conversations today, I am having the 4th one with you today, which is an inspirational conversation. So the conversation at the end of the road is an inspirational one, but throughout the road, you need to learn these basic skills and change many lives before you reach that stadium full of people. I wish that you do. I wish that all of you become world champions, but don't keep it as an end goal to be great speakers, to just stand there and deliver your life story, but rather help people live their life stories in a better way. And ultimately, I want to talk about DCP, the Distinguished Club Program, but I will talk about it in a different color. If you don't remember anything else from this talk, it is fine. But remember one thing, that in Toastmasters, we all work together, help each other be successful to reach a common goal. And that goal sometimes could be a club goal, it could be an area goal, it could be your own personal goal that others will help you achieve. Distinguished Club Program is one of those goals that help you accelerate your own journeys. And let me tell you how. If you want to learn the art of persuasion, you need to learn the art of presentation. You can take one of the goals in DCP, that is how to persuade or communicate the idea of Toastmasters to new members so that they can become part of Toastmasters. That is part of one of the goals. If you want to learn the art of articulation, there is a goal in Distinguished Club Program where you have to complete a few levels and reach it. That is how you learn the art of articulation. Your VP Education, your Vice President Public Relations, your Vice President Membership, all those people know about this. If you want to learn the art of leadership in form of an executive committee role or in form of taking records and administrative protocols, that is where DCP Goals 9 and 10, the administrative goals, come in. Friends, ultimately, I want to tell you that Toastmasters is not just a speaking club. It is a many-faceted experience. You can attempt giving speeches, you can mentor people, you can evaluate people, you can learn the art of objectivity by judging a contest. If you want to grow better in organization, start off with small organizing, a club contest. If you are a little more advanced, maybe you're in Toastmasters, consider chairing an area contest. Consider being a chief judge if you feel that you have learned enough from judging. Consider running a membership campaign if you want to lead a persuasive campaign. There are so many things just in the club level. Going forward, there are so many things beyond the club level. Toastmaster Seema is one of the area directors. I am a division director. You don't need to know what a division director does, but rather I just told you 4 very tough conversations I had to have in one day. And I'm having such conversations every single day because I am at the role of a division director. And ultimately, if you don't want to be overwhelmed by all the things I told you, scrap all of those, take them out of your mind and start very small, which is by delivering a tabletop talk. And that is where it all begins, my friends. Now I am done. We have a few minutes, I hope, to take a few questions. You can either unmute yourself or you can post your questions on chat. We'll take a few minutes till the red card is up and we can take more questions offline. So please, everyone is welcome. You know, if you don't ask questions, I will ask you questions, or your area director will take some checks from you to understand what you understood. Because again, you never know what is in Toastmasters.
Rudradev, there is a question in the chat box about how to start.
Oh, thank you so much for this question. So I just said at the end, if you are very apprehensive of what to do, reach out to your mentors. Start doing basic roles like the R counter, the timer, the table topics master, or even start speaking on the table topics. Do a grammarian's role. That is how you can start. And slowly understanding your potential and your level in life as in speaking, as a speaker, as a leader, your club officers will help you go to the next step. So the start is come to a meeting, show up, and express your interest for roles. That is where to start. Thank you. What is ice breaking? So ice breaking is about giving your first speech in pathways. That is about introducing yourself. So your mentor will be able to guide you through the journey of the icebreaker. But the first initiative you need to do is open the project in pathways that your VP education or your mentor can show you. Go through the material, take the assessment, go through the material, and try and know how to construct that speech, because 90% of the material is already there. Thank you. One more question I have is how to find the right mentor within Toastmasters community. Who should be a mentor? First and foremost, anybody can be a mentor for somebody who is starting new. Only thing you need to see is reachability and your communication with them. So are you able to communicate freely with them? Are they reachable enough to answer your basic questions? Because till the end of level 1, which I feel is 1.5 months, anybody in Toastmasters who's been there for 6 months can guide you in the best way possible. You don't need a world champion to guide you when you're starting off. Next question is, why do we have to give icebreaker on each pathway? That's a very interesting question. It is because even when exercising, you don't do one exercise once and then leave it. Sometimes when you come back to a project, after giving an entire pathway, you gain new perspective. So when I gave my icebreaker after becoming a distinguished Toastmaster, that is after 40 speeches, I got so much on how to introduce myself. And I gave it as an expert, not as a novice. That made a lot of difference. Next question is, what is more important, listening more or speaking more? So there is a very good quote that DTM Deepak Menon, our international president, told me once, is that in a meeting, in a Toastmasters meeting, we speak for probably 5 minutes or 10 minutes, but we listen for the rest 80 minutes. So we should be practicing the art of listening 8 times more than the art of speaking. Because if you listen effectively, one word you utter can have more impact than 100 words uttered by somebody who has not listened at all. So please, even though they do not get the limelight, the listening roles, the evaluators, the accountants, the timers, they gain so much from playing those roles that is evident only when you spend some time in Toastmasters. Next question is, can we change mentors in the middle? Of course, if it is not working out, consult your VP education and definitely speak to the mentor. We are all here to help each other, and if it is not working out, your mentor will understand and you will understand, and things can be worked out that way. And last question I will take is, do we ever have a chance to speak on a particular topic for longer, even in the Toastmasters journey? Of course, your second speech, the evaluation and feedback, is open to any topic you want to speak on. That is about whatever you want to speak on for 5 to 7 minutes. For longer durations, you have to be proficient enough to deliver a keynote, which takes a little time. Constructing a 30-minute speech is a little challenge for some people. Now, thank you. I hope that you all continue your journey in Toastmasters. That is our only objective today, that you do not quit Toastmasters before Toastmasters start returning value to you. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day. Banda.
Thank you so much, Division Director, distinguished Toastmaster Rudradev. The passion with which you speak, distinguished Toastmaster Rudradev, has convinced us about the beautiful journey that is ahead of all of us. It was a really enjoyable session, and I'm sure everyone present here enjoyed it too. Thank you so much. Let's have a virtual applause for our first coach, distinguished Toastmaster Rudradev. Friends, It is said that great leaders don't set out to be a leader. They set out to make a difference. It's never about the role. It's always about the goal. And that is exactly what our second session is going to be about. It's another important session for the new Toastmasters since it's about meeting protocols. This will really help the new members in taking up various roles in the club and performing them according to the guidelines provided by Toastmasters International. To conduct this session, we have a distinguished Toastmaster who is an accountant by qualification, software consultant by profession, and a Toastmaster by passion. He has been associated with Toastmasters for 12 years and is a veteran member of the first Toastmaster Club in Kolkata, that is the TCS Maitri Kolkata Toastmasters Club. He has conducted communication, leadership, and personality development workshops and also been instrumental in opening corporate and community clubs in Kolkata. He has not only mentored numerous clubs, but also Toastmasters to achieve the very best in the Toastmasters journey. In 2015, he became a distinguished Toastmaster, becoming the second person from Kolkata to win this rare honor. We have to find out who's the first one, right? Anyway, he has been a division director for Division K for the year 2018-2019. Everyone, please give a round of applause with your reaction button and welcome our second coach, distinguished Toastmaster Satyadip Basu, to the stage. So, distinguished Toastmaster Satyadip, the stage is yours.
Thank you. Thank you, Toastmaster Panna, for that insightful introduction, which I richly deserve, but I rarely get. Moving on. Good evening, everyone. Today, we will talk about meeting protocols, and for a change, I repeat, for a change, I do not have any presentation. Whatever time I have in my hand, I will try and talk about how to hold, or rather holding a quality Toastmaster session with proper protocols. How the meeting, a Toastmaster meeting, would flow. I know it might be extremely boring, something very, very usual for all senior or regular Toastmasters. These make some flaws which I have observed over the years or over the last few meetings when we are meeting online. So let me take a jump and tell you all about meeting protocols. Okay, kindly let me know just in case you are not share it or
Distinguished Toastmaster Satyadip,
Yeah.
your voice is breaking. Can you just please check your connectivity? Thank you.
Yeah. Is it okay now, or is it still breaking?
It's still breaking a bit. Can you switch off all the other devices in the house? Maybe it will help.
No, there's no other device connected. So that is where the problem lies. My internet connection sometimes is pathetic.
Okay, please continue.
Still breaking?
You're fine now. We'll switch off our videos. Maybe it will help. Thank you.
Yeah. So for a change, I am going to show you one Excel. I have got only one Excel to show, a spreadsheet in this entire presentation of mine. Just let me know once you can see my screen. Let me know once you can see the screen.
Not yet visible.
The screen is shared.
Yes, now. Visible now.
Visible now?
Yes.
Okay, clearly visible. Okay, fine. Let me start. For all the sergeant at arms in the house, a Toastmaster meeting with the sergeant at arms. Now, what does a sergeant do? The sergeant at arms opens the meeting and welcomes everyone. Panna, please let me know just in case you feel wherever the voice is breaking.
Sure, I'll do that.
Previously, the sergeant at arms had 3 switching off the mobile phones, entry or exit during an applause, and no derogatory remarks in terms of religion and politics. While the last one still holds good, in slight changes in online meetings, you can really improvise on them, but key being just to note whether the speakers, all other speakers except the one who is speaking, are muted. So the sergeant at arms works very closely with the tech master of the meeting so that all other speakers are muted and videos are either switched on and off, or the video switching is not done intermittently on and off. It distracts the speaker a lot. The sergeant at arms also ensures talks to the tech master to ensure that the tech master spotlights the speakers there. I have seen in meetings yesterday also, I saw in one of the clubs, I don't want to name it, wherein many after the meeting, when the president was closing the meeting, the spotlight was still on the day. It should be on the president when the president is closing the meeting, or for that matter, whosoever is speaking. Next, the sergeant, remember, you have to introduce the president. You have a duty of introducing the president 26 different times in 6 months tenure. So that's again a table topic for you, isn't it? With the introduction of the presidents. Word of for the sergeant at arms. These days, PR activity have taken a huge leap. So everybody is aware of the theme of the day. For heaven's sake, do not divulge the theme of the day. Do not say in your address that today the theme of the day is this, and that is why I am having such an enthusiastic start. No. The theme of the day is the prerogative of the Toastmaster of the day. So the sergeant at arms, please do not do that. Just a word of caution for you. I'll move on. Once the sergeant at arms introduces the president of the day, the president takes the charge. He or she calls the meeting to order. He or she opens the meeting with a gavel. Normally we have a gavel in the physical meeting. If the president of the club in the online situation currently holds the gavel, which is a very rare possibility considering the fact that nobody is meeting in COVID situation, then the president might start by knocking the gavel on the table, or the president might say that I begin the session officially. So with the welcome and the opening remarks. Here you see on the left hand side, if you can see, I have specified the minutes. What do these stand for? These stands for the minutes that a person or the role player should take. And this, if you see towards the end, when I go towards the end, adds up to 90. So that a Toastmaster session ends well within 90 minutes and is not extended to 120 minutes, which happens. And I'll come to the reasons why it is extended to 120 minutes these days. The president of the club introduces the guests or asks for guest introduction, and then again, without divulging the theme, introduces the Toastmaster of the day. That is also very, very important. So please, the president, please prepare the introduction of the Toastmasters well in advance. The reason being that the Toastmaster keeps on changing, and please be prepared. So don't just say that just because he's very known, the president, please on stage the VP education of a club who is going to be the Toastmaster, is going to be playing the Toastmaster of the day. That's a too drabbing introduction. Please try and innovate something which the others do not know. Try and find out. That way, you will bring variety to the session. That way your role will also be enhanced. So kindly do that, but a word of caution again, please do not divulge the theme. You might give an anecdote, a very inspirational message, but please do not divulge the theme. That is what I believe. We come to the Toastmaster of the day, who starts the session, and you can explain the 3 sections. That is the prepared speech section, the table topic section, and the evaluation section. Please remember, it is a Toastmaster session, and those are sections. I have seen Toastmasters saying that let's begin the prepared speech session. It is not the prepared speech session, it is the prepared speech section. Remember, it is a Toastmaster session with 3 sections, 3 different sections. Now the Toastmaster that introduces the theme, you can introduce the theme and then explain the 3 sections. It is absolutely okay. And you weave the theme throughout the session. Throughout the Toastmaster session, try to weave the theme. I have seen Toastmasters of the day, they talk 80% of their theme in the beginning and then run through the rest of the session. Run through the prepared speeches one by one, one after the other, run through the, ask the table topic master to take over, then run through the theme, just one line, they introduce one line of the theme and then run to the G. Don't do that. Please spread the theme, weave the theme throughout the session. After one speech, talk only maybe 10 seconds or 15 seconds about the theme, and then bring on the next speaker. That's how you will be able to keep control and weave the theme in a thread throughout the session. That is what I would expect from the Toastmaster of the day. Also introduce the G, because G is going to be the general evaluator who is going to play a very vital role. So please have a proper introduction of the G. Okay. There, the Toastmaster of the day's job ends for the time being. The G takes on the virtual podium. Now the G explains his role, his or her role. What is the role of a G? He keeps tab. The G simply says that I'll keep tab on the entire session right from the start to the end. The G for the new Toastmasters, after maybe 3 or 4 more sessions, if you are asked to play the role of a G, remember your job would begin right from the word go, in the sense that right from the point when the sergeant at arms starts the session. So the G states that he or she is going to explain the role, keep a tab of the session right from the start. And now the G calls the 3 assignees, the top 3 assignees. There are more, but the top 3 assignees, which these days a fairly famous word is going on, tag role players, TAG. And it is the order in which you should call the timer, the accounter, and the grammarian. Simply call them and ask them to explain their roles. Now here, I have got a very important point to say. I do not want to name any clubs, but in many clubs, I have seen the timer, the accounter, and the grammarian take too much of a time to explain their role. I understand that you can improvise. You want to improvise. You have to, there's the only time when you get to say something. But please understand, you are there to play a very specific role. You can improvise. Time and tide waits for none. Time is the essence of everything, and that's why the timer is so very important in a Toastmaster session. Yes, you start like this, but do not go, because the timer, please make a note. All VP educations, please make a note here. The timer simply states that I will show the green card in the minimum time the yellow card in the meantime, and the red card at the maximum time. I've got 3 cue cards. I'm going to show that. You share the screen and show it. You just give one example. For example, if a speech, not a prepared speech, just say, for example, if a speech is for 5 to 7 minutes, I will show the green card at 5 minutes, the yellow card at 6 minutes, and the red card at 7 minutes. There would be, for prepared speech section, there would be grace period of 30 seconds, both on the lower side and the upper side. That's it. Please do not, as a timer, I repeat, as a timer, you do not have to give the timings of topics. In many clubs, it is practiced, it is followed. Trust me, it is not needed. I will explain why. The timer should end their explanation just after saying 3 cards, at what time they should show, and one example. I'll come to it why table topics and general evaluation timings, and or rather evaluation timings, are not necessary. Next comes the GE asks for the R counter. The R counter comes and explains his role. Can anyone, any of the new Toastmaster, I do not know, I cannot see the entire list. The R counter stands up and says that I am the one who is going to note the crutch and the filler words, which the speakers are going to use in the session. If the speakers use in the session, I'm going to keep a note and will submit a report when the GE calls for. Can anyone tell me what is the difference between a crutch and a filler word, and can anyone give me an example? Any of the new Toastmasters who has joined? Maybe any of the new Toastmasters from Virtuo? Shilpa Agarwal, can you please tell me what is a crutch word? Shilpa, if you're there in the meeting. Shilpa, you there? Any new Toastmaster who has joined recently? Can you explain that? Can you please tell me the meaning of a crutch word?
Hi sir, this is Harsh this side.
Yes, Harsh.
So according to me, crutch words are like basically, ideally, you know, I know, like, these are the crutch words that we are using to start a new sentence.
Right.
And filler words are and, but, when we are speaking, like, you know, and that happened, and this thing happened with me as well, but, so these are the filler words according to
So
me.
what is o, a, what are these?
These are distraction words, meaning these should not be used in a speech, because this deteriorates the quality of a speech.
Really? Okay. The crutch words are the ones what you said, Harsh. And the filler words are these ums, because this is how we fill.
Okay.
Word. Basically is a crutch word. I mean is a crutch word. Okay.
Yes.
So as an R counter, please explain that yes, I have to know the crutch words, these filler words, such as, you don't have to read the entire list that you have in your Excel. That is not needed. Right? You just explain that as I will note the crutch words and the filler words. Clutch words like this one, give 3 or 4 examples, filler words, give 3 or 4 examples, and I will submit a report to the G at the end of the session. That's it. Then comes the grammarian. The grammarian explains the role, 3 things. 1, the grammarian will note the good usages and not so good usages. Remember, don't use the word bad usages. Use good usages and not so good usages. And then the pronunciation. The grammarian would also share the word of the day and would say that in a virtual platform, anyone who uses the word of the day, we would probably give a thumbs up, or we cannot clap, or a virtual sign of applause if someone uses the word of the day. I will give a report, share the report at the end of the session. Now for the word of the day, for the grammarians on the house who are going to play the role of grammarian, please do not, we are not here to be Shakespeare's, right? Please let us try to give a word of the day which is usable. do not try a very difficult word and give it as a word of the day. My request, because in some sessions I have seen that, I've requested, because if you do that, then the word of the day is not understood clearly, and it cannot be, and it can be used in the session as well. So my heartfelt request is give a more or less lucid word.
Shwetadeep, we have lost you.
Sorry.
Shwetadeep. Yes, you're back. You're back.
Okay. So as a grant, I'm saying that please try to give a lucid word that I do not give too much of a difficult word. Moving, the Toastmaster of the day then starts the prepared speech section. Maybe talks about the theme, talks about the prepared speech section, calls out the evaluators to give the prepared speech objectives. A word of caution for the evaluators. Evaluators, please talk about the prepared speech objectives and give the timing. But please do not name the speaker. Please do not name the speaker who is going to deliver the speech, because that is the prerogative of the Toastmaster. So the Toastmaster of the day will next introduce the speaker, give the speech title, and also tell the mentor's name. And then the prepared speech section would start. One after the other, the prepared speeches would take place. And in between, I would request the Toastmaster of the day to continue with the theme, so that the theme is also there and the prepared speech section is not dragging, so that if all these speeches are held one after the other, just like a marathon, and then again the Toastmaster of the day comes with the theme towards the end of the prepared speech section. That totally distracts the theme. At this juncture, after the end of the prepared speech section, the Toastmaster of the day should ask for the timer's report. Please ask for the timer's report then and there. That would help. Trust me. And there, I would request all the club presidents to conduct the voting for the best speaker. Because if you do it later, then there's a halo effect for the speakers based on the evaluation. My recommendation, we can have a debate later towards the end of my session, but please conduct a voting for the best speaker there without any halo effect from the evaluators, right? And that is where the Toastmaster introduces the table topic master. The table topic master comes to the podium. Here, the table topic master talks about the timer's rule, explains the rule, that is a table topic is an impromptu speech and so on, explains. And there the table topic master talks about the timer rules, not the timer in the beginning. The table topic master here talks about the timing rules: 1 minute, green card, 1.5 minutes, yellow card, and 2 minutes, red card with a grace on the 30 seconds on the higher sides. Because the guests are there, it would be imprinted in their memory. For the guests would understand that, okay, now I know the topic and now I know the timing. If I'm called to speak, I would know the timing. It is imperative. And once the table topic section finishes, table topic master asks for the timing from the timer, the table topic timings, right? And there you can go in for the best table topic speakers vote. That would help rather than taking all the votes in the end. Moving on to the general evaluator, because that's all. I am almost towards the end of my presentation. Here the general evaluator comes, and there the general evaluator talks about the evaluation timing. 2 minutes green card, 2.5 minutes yellow card, 3 minutes red card with 30 seconds grace period on both sides, right? And then the general evaluator asks for calls the evaluators one by one. After each evaluation, the general evaluator can talk about the points which the evaluator has not mentioned about the speeches, can talk about if the evaluator has made, if the general evaluator has got some comments for the evaluators, the general evaluator can say that, and then gradually can comment on the meeting as a whole. Sorry, here you can see general comments of the meeting as a whole, or the general evaluator can talk about, or the general evaluator can ask for the 3 reports. This is interchangeable. I have kept this interchangeable. In many clubs, they talk about the meeting as a whole and then they come back to the 3 reports. That is fine. you can use it both ways. When the general evaluator asks for the timer's report, the timer only gives the evaluator's timings. And then you can go in for the best not exactly the best evaluator voting. After the general evaluator finishes, you can go in for the best evaluator's voting. The general evaluator then asks for the accountan's report and the grammarian's report, right? In some clubs do have their parliamentarian. What is a parliamentarian? Parliamentarian takes care of the decorum of the meeting, whether there were in physical meetings, whether there was a mobile phone which has rung, or in case whether there are cross talks. In some clubs, they have the wow counter to note down the wow moment. The general evaluator can ask, the KTM has a wow counter always in place. So the general evaluator can ask for the wow counter's report. This is what an ideal flow of a Toastmasters meeting should be. Then the general evaluator would return the control to the Toastmaster, obviously after commenting on the meeting as a whole, which can include the comments on the table topic speakers as well. Which can, general evaluator would comment on the sergeant at arms, the president, the Toastmaster of the day, the table topic master, and the table topic speakers, and can control. Finally, the Toastmaster of the day, that is the last time the Toastmaster of the day comes to the podium, explains talks about the theme and closes his part. The educational part is closed. The Toastmaster of the day would return the control back to the president. Now the president comes, he or she takes the guest's feedback, they conduct the business session, obviously. Then you know how it works. This is very simple, announces the awards, if there are any announcements to be made, and then adjourns the meeting. Ideally, if you add this up, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know whether you can see my screen or not, the sum shows here is 90. If you follow this, trust me, you will be able to conduct a session within 90 minutes with 3 prepared speeches and at least 6 to 7 table topics. And please, for VP educations, of our clubs which are also, for the clubs which are formed new or upcoming clubs, please allow some time for the G, because the G is the backbone of the club. Please do not waste enough time in giving introductions and then ask the G to curtail in the end. That does not help the club. VP educations, please plan your agenda accordingly. That's a heartfelt request. Timer, accountant, and grammarian is called in that role. Timing is done for individually. Accountant will specify for individual speakers. And grammarian, as a grammarian, you don't have to say that Toastmaster Panna used the word of the day this many times. Toastmaster Panna this. Toastmaster this is ubiquitous, spread throughout the meeting. So grammarian would be for the entire meeting as a whole. The good usages and the bad usages, or not so good usages, would be there for the meeting as a whole. This is what I had to say as a meeting protocol. I don't want to touch base on anything else today. I would send this, if it works, I will send this to Ruddra so that he can circulate it to all others in the division. But if you follow this meeting protocol, I hope this can be achieved. And this is what my goal is. Thank you. Over to the Master of Ceremonies.
Thank you so much, distinguished Toastmaster Satyadeep Basu. That was really very well done. In a short amount of time, you could provide a clear picture about how a Toastmaster session should be conducted. I've been reading the chat box and there are so many words of praise, and they all want their timing chart, the wonderful chart of timing, to be shared with them. And they're all sharing their email addresses over in the chat box. So very well done. Let's have a big round of applause for distinguished Toastmaster Satyadeep Basu.
Thank you.
Tell me, friends, does accessing the new interface of Basecamp leave you all confused? Do you want to know how to record your evaluation or what it takes to deliver a speech outside Toastmasters? Then your wait ends here, because we have our very own Pathways Avenger, a fabulous mentor and guide to enlighten us about the Basecamp management and pathways. Somebody in the chat box was asking to know about pathways, and your wish has been answered. Our coach for the session is a very humble Toastmaster who is the first Pathways Distinguished Toastmaster of Division K. He has been an area director and is the current second runner-up of District Table Topic Contest. He is a member of TCS Maitri Kolkata Toastmasters Club since February 2016. Now, with a round of applause, it's time for me to hand over the virtual stage to the ever-smiling, ever-helpful, distinguished Toastmaster Shayak Chandra. The mic is yours, distinguished Toastmaster Shayak.
Well, thank you so much, Toastmaster Panna, for that wonderful introduction. I'll just take a moment to share my screen, and here you go. All right, a very good evening, good morning, good afternoon. I do not know from which point are you joining. So a very warm welcome to all the members present in this meeting. In the next 30 minutes, I will take you all somewhere. I know you are all bored in this lockdown period. You have not gone to any places. So let's visit a place where we may find something different. But before I take you all there, let me tell why is this session arranged and what is this all about. So we are here to talk about pathways, and I was listening to the presentations that was given by DTM Ruddra and DTM Satyadeep, and we all talked about why we join Toastmasters, why we give speeches, why we participate in contests, what it takes to make role plays even more better. And I absolutely loved all of their presentations. But now let's learn as to what exactly we need to do in Pathways or in Toastmasters. But before I tell you all of that, let me give you a brief history as to where it is all coming from. So back in the year around 1930s or 40s, somewhere around 1930 to 1940, this was the educational platform or the educational curriculum of Toastmasters. It was called the Basic Training Manual. Now this Basic Training Manual had competent communication projects and leadership projects, both amalgamated into one. But over the time, they felt that the education curriculum must change. Right now, you must be hearing about news about the new education policy. Well, the new education policy also changes, or the education policy for that matter changes every 30 or 40 years, so that we can accustom or acclimatize with the current situations, with the future aspirations, and so does Toastmasters. And therefore, sometime around 1970s, Toastmasters brought the Competent Communicator and the Competent Leadership Manual, which was again all about communication and leadership, but it was more thought through than the Basic Training Manual. From 1970s to around 2010, it was around 40 years, and it was time for Toastmasters International to come with something new again. And so here we have the Toastmasters International Pathways Learning Experience. And all I can say, because I have enrolled in Toastmasters at the time when it was 2016, and there was no pathways at that point of time. In our district, of course, it was formulated, but it was not rolled out in our district. And I started with the Competent Communicator or the Competent Communicator or the Competent Leadership Manual. And I thought that this is so well thought of. I could never think anything new than what was there in these two manuals, or for that matter, the advanced manuals. But when Pathways came into existence, I was totally floored. The way they designed the new projects, the way they have catered to all the needs of the millennials and the organizational structure that we all work in, I think Pathways has a great amount of learning, which is or cannot be compared to the past sessions or the past curriculums. But before we talk about Pathways, I promised you that I'll take you somewhere, and here is this. Can someone use the chat and tell me what is this? Or can you guess which place is this, or what are we doing here? Any guesses? Any guesses? By seeing the picture, you can type in the chat, or you can unmute yourself and tell. All right.
Everest Basecamp.
Great. Okay, we got the answer from a veteran. Everest Basecamp. But why we are looking at this Everest Basecamp? Well, particularly because for any march in Everest, or for that matter in any mountain, there is always a base camp where all the resources and all the training is done for the climbers. And it is only in this base camp that they get to know what they are supposed to do to go to the next level. And I think pathways, or the base camp that we'll talk about, I think they have thought through and they have come up with this term called base camp with enough of thinking. Because I, for that matter, particularly believe that every journey in this world is all about climbing, just like a mountain. We have several challenges at every step, and we do not know when or where are we going to reach. Of course, there's a peak of the mountain, but then we do not know of the challenges. And I think base camp is the place where the climbers get all the information, all the required prerequisites to climb the mountain. And the reason I've shown you this is because the forward image or the further image would be this. Can someone unmute and guess who these two people are? Any idea? One of them is wearing a mask, but don't worry, that was not a COVID situation. Any idea who these two people are? All right, somebody is writing it in chat. Can somebody unmute, because I'm in a presentation mode, can't check the chat. You can unmute yourself and guess.
Toastmaster totally says it's Tenzin Norgay.
All right, somebody says it's Tenzin Norgay. You're absolutely correct. It's Tenzin Norgay and Edmund Hillary. But the reason why I have put out this picture is because in the year 1953, on 29th of May, these two people captured or conquered the highest of this world. And when they were asked in an interview at the All India Radio as to what are the two things that they are thankful for, apart from their skills of climbing, they mentioned two things. And those two things were the Sherpas, the people who help the mountaineers or the climbers to climb and guide them, and the base camp. In Toastmasters as well, I think the Sherpas are the mentors, the people who help us, who guide us throughout this entire journey to make this entire experience a better one. And also, we have now a base camp. And today we will all talk about Basecamp. We will know more about Basecamp, the final, the one-stop solution for all your problems in pathways. I know most of us are the new members here. They have just come into Toastmasters. They may have just got the login credentials and are absolutely overwhelmed by the amount of resources that they are subjected to. But today I am here to make it a bit more simpler to all of you. And in the next 30 minutes, let's climb, or let's prepare to climb in the base camp, and let's see how wonderful this experience is. Also, I would request that if there is any queries or any questions, we can have a 5 minutes to 7 minutes kind of time towards the end of the session, where we will have question answers, doubt clearing sessions, if you have any. Let's quickly begin. The first slide is this. Why I have shown this is because this is your gateway. This is, in my opinion, this is your base camp. In fact, we are going to Pathways Base Camp, but this is where you log into Toastmasters credential. I hope every one of you have got your Toastmasters credentials. Of course, not to the veteran Toastmasters, but to the new Toastmasters who have just joined and have got enrolled. They have been assigned as a mentor and they have got the credentials. You just need to log in into this particular portal, and you will go to a place called Pathways. This is the new option that is added. As you can see in the screen, it is Pathways, and the first thing that you need to do is to choose a path. Now, what is a path? How to choose? Let me show it for all of you. After you click on choose a path, you get into this particular page where you have to select your path language. For mostly all of us, it will be English, unless someone is from China, Mandarin, I do not know, Russian, I do not know. If not, it will be English for all of you. And you have to click on select digital resources unless you have too much of money. And then you can also order you can give $25 and you can order the printed material. So I think let's go with the digitalized method and let's get all online resources. Remember, the first path that you're going to get is absolutely free, which means that you don't have to pay any money to get subscribed to the first path. Remember, you paid your membership fee, which is the new member fee of $20, and the $45 fee, which is the fees that you give to become a Toastmaster, and then you get this path absolutely free. When you click this select digital resources, and throughout that entire page, because it was long, so I had to divide it into 2 pages, you will also get these 2 options. One is called view path options, and the second is called take assessment. Now, I would personally urge all of you to select take assessment instead of view path options. The reason why I'm saying so is because when you take this assessment, the system will ask you 14 wonderful questions, which you have to answer very honestly, and you have to make sure that while you answer, nobody is there around you. Now, a disclaimer, there is nothing fishy in this. Why I say is because when there is nobody around you is because you will be more honest to answer when you will be answering these questions. Because after the end of 14 or 16 odd questions in this particular path, you will be given 3 options, the top 3 options that the systems think that this suits you. So you will get the top 3 paths, and apart from all the other paths, and that will help you to choose your path selection. However, let me tell you one thing, that even if you take this assessment, please take your time and please take your effort to read all the paths description and then select a path. The reason why I'm saying is because once you select a path, there is no comeback, or there is no rollback, all right? Which means that once you select a path, that path becomes yours, unless you have made a wrong decision and you realize it within the first 30 days. You have to manually email it to Toastmasters World headquarters, where you have to request that I made a mistake by selecting this path. I don't want to, please change my path to this particular path, and that's a cumbersome process. So I will request you to read through the entire description of all the paths and then make the correct decision. Once you do that and continue, you will get the Basecamp resource or the Basecamp access to that path. Now, what are the paths? There are 11 pathways. Initially, it was 10 paths. The new path is the engaging humor, and these are the curriculums that you get right at the start of your journey. By means, or what that means is you get access to all of these individually, determined by which path you choose, and then you can get into the pathways and understand what it takes to deliver the projects or the speeches. And to make a point here, let me tell you that you will learn more than 300 competencies. Can you believe, or can you imagine, can you guess if there is any other platform or any other program which can give you an opportunity to learn more than 300 competencies? Well, I have never come across any such program. Toastmasters or Pathways allows you to do that. And what are those 300 competencies is you will get to know once you select a path and get into the Basecamp. And that is where we are going next. Before I tell you how to access the Basecamp, let me give you a brief overview of pathways. Any path has 5 levels. Remember, every path that you choose, irrespective of whichever path you choose, it has 5 levels. Level 1 comprises of 3 mandatory projects. I have divided it into very easy keywords: mandatory, electives, required. I'll explain you very quickly. Level 1 has 3 mandatory projects. Level 2 has 3 mandatory projects. Level 3 has 1. Level 4 has 1. 5 has 1. And then you have electives in level 3, 4, and 5, where you are only required to do 2 out of 14. You have the freedom to do all of that, but you are required to do a minimum of 2. When you complete all these 5 levels, and then you complete a path or a project called Reflect on Your Path, which is a project in which you have to describe about your experience in that path, and then you complete an entire path. So that is how the Pathways journey will look like. And now we'll be jumping into how a level look like and what are the things that we need to do as a speaker or as an evaluator in Pathways. Very quickly, once you have chosen the path, you will go again to pathways, and then you have all the rights to click on go to Basecamp, because now it will take you to the Basecamp. Remember the first picture? Yes, we are heading there. The Basecamp, which will make you all capable to climb the mountain that you are here for. So after you click the Basecamp, you will be getting the paths that you have selected. As you can see in the screen, there are 2 paths right now mentioned for me. I have taken a screenshot from my Basecamp. The reason why it is shown 2 paths is because I have taken or I have completed both the paths. For you, it will be any of the paths. Remember the 11 paths that you have seen just now. You will choose any one of the path, and there will be the first path for you. Once you see this, you will get to know what your path is and what you need to do in your pathways. After you select this and after you get into these pathways, the next path or the next thing that you need to do is to go to level 1. How we go to the level 1? Remember the previous slide. Here we have seen leadership development, and we have seen an option called open curriculum. So once you click on open curriculum, you will be able to see the next page which I have shown, which is the level 1. Here you will get all the projects level wise. So level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, level 5. Remember Ruddra was speaking about delivering the icebreaker. The icebreaker starts from here. Your breaking of the ice right at the Basecamp starts at level 1. So once you decide that you are ready to give your icebreaker, you send your speech to your mentor. Before doing all of that, you have to just click on this button called launch, because when you click on this launch, every project has the resource to tell you what exactly you are supposed to do in that project and what will take you there. So you click on this launch and then you get to the icebreaker. Similarly, you go to the evaluation and feedback, all of that. And when you complete level 1 completion, you get a certificate like this. So you get a certificate after finishing of each of the levels, and at the end of the path, you get the path completion certificate. Very quickly, after you seen what we have to do and level, or how we have to access the level, we can now go to the next part. Now to go to any of the part of Pathways Basecamp, you have to simply click on home button. You can see the arrow which shows the home, or you can simply click on the Toastmasters Pathways button, which is at the top home screen. Once you click on that, you will get to this page where you will get an option of speech evaluation. Once you click the speech evaluations, you will get the speech evaluation PDF of any speech of any pathways. Now, how can you use this? For example, if Toastmaster Sheetal is going to deliver a speech and say Toastmaster Seema is going to evaluate Toastmaster Sheetal, and just in case if Toastmaster Sheetal has forgotten to give his project objectives or the evaluation form to Toastmaster Seema as an evaluator simply can go to this speech evaluation, can click on that and can select the project. You click on this, you get the PDF that you can download, which you have to have as a reference to evaluate the speaker. After you do all of this, now comes the most interesting part, and which is my feedback. Now, Pathways is very much different than any other educational program, because here you can record your feedback. Imagine you're giving a speech on 2020, and on 2030, you want to see what feedback you have received for your icebreaker speech. It is very easy because you have recorded your speech evaluation here. To record your speech evaluation here, if you simply click on my feedback, when you click on my feedback, you get to this particular page where the evaluator uploads your feedback. Now I will come to the process how the evaluator uploads, but let's first see what is this page. So this page is just like a social forum, just like Facebook, where you get a status shares, something like that, and people who have shared something about, or people to whom you have shared some feedback, all of the actions come under this page. If I scroll down to this page, I will get all the feedback that my evaluators have provided to me throughout my journey in Pathways. But what if you are an evaluator and you want to provide someone else a feedback? For that, you have to just click on this search button. Now the search button functions in a very tricky way. By that I mean you cannot search anybody or everybody in this world. You can only search your own club member. So for example, one of my club member is Manish Shah. If I simply write Manish, I get 2 options in this search button. If I click on Manish, go to his profile, you can see the red box here and I have reached here. And now if I want to give feedback to Manish, I will simply click on this feedback button. When I click on this feedback button, I will simply go here and I will click this. When I click this feedback button, I will get a point where I can share my remarks, where I can set the privacy. Sometimes I might want that nobody sees my evaluation that I have given to Manish. Sometimes I would want everybody to see. So it depends upon which speaker do I, or which members do I want to show will be shown here. I can attach the PDF. You can see the PDF attachment here, and I can also attach badges. The badges are here to say all of us what we are doing, and sometimes it is here to inspire the speaker. You can give some badges, but this is not mandatory. The mandatory is to attach the PDF as an evaluator and then submit it. Once you do all of that, there is the end of your actions as a speaker and evaluator. And I think this is the basic thing that you need to know as a speaker and evaluator. If we have any questions regarding all of these processes, we'll certainly take. And I do not want to go into Basecamp manager part. Just to tell you or give you an idea, a Basecamp manager is a special privilege that is given only to the club executive committee. And sometime when we will have a session for club executive committee, we'll see about Basecamp management part. But here are a few of the points that I want all of you to take, and that is read the project resource very carefully before attempting any project. I've seen several instances where people do not read the project objectives very clearly, and therefore sometimes they do not meet the project objectives. I think one of the primary importance of Pathways is to be able to deliver speeches just like the way Toastmasters International wants us to, rather than simply skipping all of that part and giving something that does not make sense. So we have to read the project carefully. Number two is do not refer to an evaluation sheet for your project objectives. I have seen this mistake being done even by veteran Toastmasters. Sometimes when I ask a veteran one of my veteran Toastmasters is also, sometimes he asks me about few of the things in Pathways. He's very new to Pathways. He has just completed level 1. And he once called me up recently and told that, Shayak, I went through the evaluation resource of project 2 of level 1, and I think I have got what to do. I told that evaluation resource is for the evaluator. It is not for the speaker. And therefore, remember the time when we have gone to the level 1 and we had that open curriculum and launch button. There is the resource for the speakers. So I think we have all got enough time now to at least go to the launch button and see what each project expects us to do, and only then deliver that particular project. And number 3 is explore Pathways mentor program, something that I will not go into details, but after completion of your level 2, you will be subjected to something new, which is called a Pathways mentor program. It is not mandatory, but it will be great if you can take this up, because that will also help you become a mentor in Pathways. So apart from all the other things that you do as to deliver speech or something like that, you can also become a mentor. So that is the way you do this. And the last, I would just like to leave you with this quote, that it is not the mountain we conquer, but ourselves. And most importantly, this was through all the challenges, just to realize that it was not the mountain, but he conquered himself. So I believe that through all of this process, you just don't conquer the pathways, but you conquer the fear of speaking. You conquer all the negative or the challenges, I must say, that comes across. And then you proudly say to the entire world that you are here to guide others in the best way possible. And you know that there were 2 things that helped you. Remember the 2 things that I started with: the Sherpas, which is the mentors, and the Basecamp. With that, I end my presentation. And in case if you have any questions, you can please post your questions in the chat box, or you can unmute yourself and ask. Thank you very much for your time. And it was my time. Thank you so much. You have been a lovely audience. Thank you. All right, I'm getting some questions. Just allow me to end the share. Yes. Okay. All right. Astana Banu asked, when prepared speech is given in some other club, then the evaluator cannot upload the evaluation. Then how can I upload that, and whether our VP Education can be able to see that? All right. Thank you so much, Astana, for this question. The answer to this is, when you are delivering a speech to a different club, of course, that member will not be able to upload your evaluation in the system. So you can request that person to send your evaluation offline, maybe through email, maybe through WhatsApp, and then you can go to your own feedback section and then you can upload it for yourself. So it is not needed if that member is uploading it, because he does not belongs to your club, so he will not be able to, but you can do it for yourself just by clicking on the feedback option. Remember, I've shown it to you. You can simply upload it there, or you have something called My Documents, which is not mandatory and therefore I've not touched it, but you can keep it there, or you can keep it locally any place, so that in case if your VP Education asks for, you can show it. All right. Toastmaster Puneet asked, if speech is given to other club by a member, how can I track it as a VP Ed? Great question. In fact, I was having a discussion with one of the Toastmasters very recently, and he said that, you know, I am the VP Ed of a club and I have a member who claims that he has given this particular speech in that particular club, and so and so, and right now I see that he has filed his level 4 and I do not even know. I know this is a real problem, and as a VP Education, you won't want anybody to file awards just like that. Like, you won't want that person not to give speeches but yet to file the awards. So I think one way is to ask the particular member who is delivering the speech, in case if you have any doubt, if you can ask the particular member who has delivered this speech to also share with you the feedback. As a VP Education, you can also ask his mentor to attend that particular session. And as well, there is an option in Pathways where you can request, as a member, you can request if you want to give a speech at a different club. However, for that, it is details of Pathways, and I'll get to that in some later session. But remember that if you want to check if your member is delivering speeches, you have to be a bit more proactive. You have to check with his mentor if he's delivering it correctly or not. And I think that is, those are some of the ways by which you can check. All right. Is there any role of mentor in Pathways? Any role as in, yeah, Pathways mentor program. Once you become the Pathways mentor, the role is to guide other people. You know, you become the Sherpa and you guide other people climb the mountain just like you have climbed it. So I think the other roles of mentor is to check whether the speaker is getting proper kind of guidance from the mentor or not, and checking all the other things that the speaker is here for. Understanding the speaker's aspirations is one of the primary skill that you learn as a mentor, and you will get to know more about this, Toastmaster Mohit, once you enroll yourself in the Pathways Mentor program. So I would strongly urge you, if you're interested in it, please enroll for Pathways Mentor program. Timer, okay, Harsh Gupta asks, can 2 pathways be taken parallelly? Absolutely, yes, Harsh, you can take all 11 pathways parallelly, only if you have all the money that is required to buy 11 pathways. Each pathway costs $20, and the first pathway is free. The second pathway comes at a cost of $20, but you have the freedom to pursue as many number of paths as you want parallelly, remaining in one club. Remember, you do not need dual membership to have 2 pathways. You can stay in one club and you can get access to multiple paths. What is the exact role of mentor? Is the mentor to be present during the meeting when mentee is giving the speech? Ideally, yes. I think one of the responsibilities of mentor is to be there in the meeting when the mentee is delivering the speech, so that you know whether the mentee has been able to incorporate the feedback that you have given him as a mentor. All right, if there is any other questions we can take. I am almost at the red. I've seen the red, and if there are no questions further, I'll give it to our Master of Ceremonies in 5, 4, 3. All right, we have a question. Any advantage of pursuing multiple pathways? The advantage is, okay, good question. If you want to further your journey in Toastmasters, and if you want to become a DTM, you have to complete a minimum of 2 pathways, Toastmaster Kunal. So if you want to fast pace your journey, you can take, but I will personally suggest you that be in one path, complete the path, and then take the other path. The learning, the sequential learning is even better rather than having, say, 3 or 4 paths and doing it all together. You have no idea where it is going. All right. Okay, thank you so much. I think those were all the questions. If there are any other questions, we can take offline. Thank you so much for listening to me. And over to you, Toastmaster Panna.
Thank you so much, distinguished Toastmaster Shayak. Let's hear it for him. Friends, I told you he's a very, very helpful Toastmaster. So any questions you have that is still remaining, you can contact him directly, and I'm sure he will be there to help you answer all those questions. Now, imagine your boss asked you where you were when you returned after a long lunch break. You're caught. What will you say? Or the main speaker for the day backed out and you're asked to take his or her place. Do you think you can do it? Situations like these you need to be a master at impromptu speaking, especially when you're cornered and need to speak off the cuff. Impromptu speaking gives us the confidence to give a last-minute presentation, sail through a challenging meeting, or convince others of our ideas. The fourth and final segment of our event is how to deal with the art of impromptu speaking. And now it's time to introduce a coach who's going to give us very, very valuable tips. And let me tell you all, he's a master in this game. In fact, recently, I heard him speak for 7 minutes on an impromptu topic, and he was amazing. Who is this person? This coach is an IBM accredited IT consultant. He's an author, speaker, and educator with a passion for volunteering that has seen him mentor students, deliver keynote speeches, conduct workshops, and judge events across premier institutes like IITs and IIMs. At Toastmasters International, he has played several leadership roles over the decade, including that of an area director twice, division director twice, Pathways ambassador, Pathways guide, district newsletter editor, and district administration manager. This former district champion, table topics champion, and 3 times, mind you, 3 times DTM, is currently serving District 41 as a club growth director. With a big round of applause with a reaction button, let us invite distinguished Toastmaster DTM Ayanpal for the coach for this event. Distinguished Toastmaster Ayanpal, the stage is yours.
Thank you so much. Soon to be distinguished Toastmaster Panna, and a distinguished host indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to start off with a presentation. Hello, am I muted, unmuted?
You're heard.
I'm heard. Wow, that's cool. So ladies and gentlemen, it's a very simple presentation if you can follow it, and a very difficult presentation if you cannot. So I'm hoping you follow what I'm saying, and let's together try to achieve excellence. There are 2 kinds of people in this room today. Some of you are here to find out how to face impromptu speaking, and some of you are here to find out how to ace impromptu speaking. By the end of the day, I will probably have a little for both kind of you, how to face and how to ace, provided you join me in this race in trying to trace the benefits, the pursuits, and what really sets impromptu speaking apart. So coming up straight from my heart and influenced by the examples of Shayak Chandra, GTM, who just spoke about this, impromptu speaking and mountains. You have already heard about Basecamp, about mentoring, about so many other things. I'm now going to draw your attention to this picture, and you, ladies and gentlemen, can unmute yourselves or maybe post in the chat section, and I would request Panna to call it out, if I may. What, as per you, compares impromptu speaking and mountains? Can you hear me, Shottadeep?
This is better. This is better. Your microphone is away. This is better.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Shottadeep. So ladies and gentlemen, I am asking you to tell me, what does this picture remind you when it comes to impromptu speaking? And I would request you to put that in the chat section, and I would request Panna, who is the MC of the event, so maybe to maybe help me out, because I'm sharing my screen, to tell me what they are saying right now.
It is like to climb mountains.
Impromptu speaking is like climbing mountains. Okay, but look at these mountains. How many mountains do you see? Anything in this picture that you think is common to impromptu speaking? Can this picture be describing impromptu speaking? Yes, Panna, tell me what they're saying.
There may be ups and downs to remain calm.
Ups and downs to remain calm. That's interesting.
It's
what
uncertain.
Else?
Beautiful
Uncertain.
journey.
It's a beautiful journey. Which part of the picture represents uncertainty? Let's try to interpret this picture. If you were asked to speak about this picture, and by the way, they say a picture is worth 1,000 words. I've probably got around 25 till now. 975 words are remaining. Can you look at different parts of the picture and tell me what does it remind you in terms of impromptu speaking? So which part of the picture reminds you of uncertainty?
No, nothing as yet.
Nothing as yet. Okay, what if I
there
tell
is somebody said the peak, the fog, the height.
Okay, the peak, I think, represents success when you are able to deliver an impromptu speaking well. What does the fog represent? Think about it.
The fear.
The fear, okay.
Unclear.
The fumble, the jumble,
ambiguity.
Ambiguity, yes, excellent. So you've got the fog covered. How many mountains are here? How many peaks do you see, sort of? They're quiet, but distinctly you see 3? Yes. Yeah. So what are the 3? I'm going to talk about the 3. The 3 represents the 3 kinds of impromptu speakers: beginner, intermediate, and advanced. And let's see where exactly you are. Now, are all the mountains of the same color? What's there in the bottom right-hand corner? What's that? What does that green represent?
Nothing as yet.
It represents
on time.
Nothing. It represents on time.
On time.
Literal meaning of green. Yes, I can understand that you're a little tired right now, which is why I'm trying to wake you up.
Okay, someone said certainty.
It represents certainty. Okay.
Yeah.
Does it represent a sense of confidence? Green, and you're very calm. You are at your level. You're at that valley, and you're happy about it.
Bountiful thoughts.
Bountiful thoughts. Yes. Green is for growth. I don't know. There's so many things that this picture represents. To me, this picture represents about the perils as well as the trials and tribulations of impromptu speaking. Yes, there are mountains. Yes, maybe you are somewhere on the peak. Maybe you're at a very green zone and you don't want to push yourself to see whether you can go forward. It can mean a lot of different things. And that is exactly what impromptu speaking is about. It can mean what you want it to mean. Just like a mountain. You want to enjoy a mountain from the distance as a part of the audience, clapping great impromptu speakers, or you want to be on the difficult terrain, is up to you. You also have to decide which level you want to reach. Are you happy climbing that cliff, that hillock maybe? And yes, I've done my bit. Or are you aiming to be the greatest impromptu speaker, like that climbing Mount Everest, the highest peak? All of that is something you have to decide for yourself, because impromptu speaking can take you places. But impromptu speaking can also make you realize that you're not yet ready for the race. So let's find out where you stand. And it's completely okay to want different things out of impromptu speaking, because we are not all the same, and everyone is not a Tenzing Norway or an Edmund Hillary. Sometimes just being a little runner who wants to go up a mountain and have a picnic is good enough too. So don't worry if you don't get everything, but there is something for everyone. With that, I'm going to talk about the benefits of impromptu speaking. Impromptu speaking can, as you can see on your screen, make people give you a thumbs up. The first, improve your oral expression of thought. Second, help develop your confidence in public speaking. Third, help you think quickly on your feet. Fourth is help you develop leadership and communication skills. But why should you believe me? How many of you think every single point mentioned here is correct? Just because I say, does it make it true? Where are the facts? Where are the figures? Can anyone tell me from the audience, what do you think might not be true here? I can see a lot of responses slowly trickling in. You can probably unmute yourself and speak at this moment. Panna, if you can just read the response and tell me who is it going to be. Impromptu speaking can improve your oral expression of thought. Do you all agree with this? Is there someone here who does not agree? You can just say a no.
They're all agreeing with it.
They all agree with it. Wonderful. Yeah. So we have to understand that a written expression of thoughts is probably better because we are educated. We have written essays, we have done that. But oral expression of thought is something very different. So from writing to saying it clearly, it's not the easiest. And that is something impromptu speaking can help you with. Help develop your confidence in public speaking. How can impromptu speaking make you more confident public speaking wise? This is public speaking. Isn't prepared speaking also public speaking? Why do you have to do impromptu speaking? Why can't you just prepare and by heart and come and deliver a speech? Any answers?
Yes, if I may.
Yes, please, Ridula, right?
Yes. So Toastmaster Harsh says that you can be prompt and you can be spontaneous.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. You see, public speaking is often something that is aimed at making you confident. However, it is derived from a lot of other factors. For example, you go to a mentor and you get someone coached, someone can teach you. Impromptu speaking can make you much more confident because you are there by yourself, fighting that battle on your own. No one is going to whisper into your ears, say this, say that. No one is going to mentor you and say, you know what, you can say this better. There's just one chance of doing that. And somehow that makes people very, very confident. It's a tried and tested method. Now, the next point, help you to think quickly on your feet. I think most of you will agree on that. Of course, impromptu speaking means thinking on your feet. So obviously you think quickly on your feet. But tell me about the last point. And before you tell me anything about the last point, that is help you develop leadership and communication skills, tell me what is the definition as per you of a leader. By the way, some of you might have seen me deliver this presentation before. So please don't give it away if I may request you to. So what is the definition of a leader, ladies and gentlemen? Who as per you as a leader? Can we have some answers, please?
May I, sir?
Yes, please. And if you can just announce your name before speaking.
Yeah, this is Seetal.
Yes, Sheetal, go on.
Yeah, a leader is one who knows the way, shows the way, and goes the way.
Knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way. I think that was a quote by Maxwell, if I'm not mistaken. And yes.
Yes, it is.
Very nice. A leader is someone who knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way. But how do you know someone is the leader? If someone comes and tells you, you know, this is the way, how will you know he's a leader? How will you know he's lying to you or not?
Tough situations actually test your leadership skills. When you're in difficult situations, the way you lead your team is what defines.
I'm not talking about you. Just think about the question. You as a normal person, one second, you as a normal person, how will you identify that someone is a leader? Yes, you may, please, ma'am.
My name is Pratiti, and leader is one who not only guides you in times of crisis, but actually a leader is a person who brings the best out of you, basically.
Correct. Definition of a leader, I agree. There could be so many definitions. This is also one of the definitions. Excellent definition. How do you identify that someone is a leader? I'm looking for one word.
Can I say, please?
Yes, please, you can say. What's your name, please?
My name is Ashutosh.
Yes, Ashutosh.
Right. I will say that anyone who touch, moves, and inspire me is a leader for me. So if I listen to someone, and if his words...
Hrithik Roshan is dancing beautifully. He is touching you through his dancing. He's moving and he's inspiring you.
May not be. Yeah, so he may touch me, he may move me, but may not inspire me.
Okay.
And if he inspires me, I will say yes, he is a leader for me.
He's a leader. Okay. I would request using annotations.
May I answer?
One second. I would request the take master to please delete the annotations. Thank you. Yes, please. Another question. One of you said a leader is someone who knows the way, goes the way, shows the way. Is a bus conductor a leader? or a bus driver for that matter, who knows the way, goes the way and shows the way every day by going along that way. How do you know someone is a leader? Yes, these are qualities and characteristics of a leader. Go on if you have an answer. I'm looking for
Can I try?
Yes,
Can I try?
yes, please try. Tell me.
I am Nitya Bairagi.
Yes, Nitya.
See, as you said, how can I understand to see a leader?
Just one word, Nitya. One word. Give me one word.
Who has the ability to communicate others?
Yeah, so this is Mohit.
Yes, Mohit.
From that side. Go to the leader.
One second. Mohit, go on.
So this is something lead.
Sorry, what lead?
Yeah, so a leader is someone to whom, if anyone goes, so who can answer.
Okay, so by that definition, Google is a leader. Alexa is a leader. Is Alexa a leader?
The leader should be a friend.
Leader is your friend. Okay.
So
okay, guys, I expected a little bit more. The answer,
Ayun,
the
there are
clue
some
lies in
answers in the
Twitter.
chat box.
Yeah, if you
Who
can
can
read
lead
them out,
from the
please.
front? Who can lead from the front?
Who can lead from the front? Okay.
Okay, there are some answers. One
Who
who
can
guides.
be the role modeler? We
Who
can
can
say
be a role model, someone who guides. Yes, all of these are qualities of a leader. A leader, ladies and gentlemen,
A leader is a
one
teacher.
who has dash. Hold on. Who has dash? Clue Twitter. A leader is someone who has dash. Clue LinkedIn. A leader is someone who has dash. Clue Facebook. I'm looking for one word. The answer is followers. Can you be a leader if no one is following you? Is it possible? Tell me, anyone. Can someone be a leader if no one is following him? Who are you leading? You can't. I'm not talking about the qualities of a leader. I'm talking about when someone is a leader. Think about Asrani from the movie Sholay. आधे इधर जाओ, आधे उधर जाओ, बाकी मेरे पीछे आओ, कोई बाकी है ही नहीं, सब मर गया, वो left right चला गया. So who is a leader? And how, if by going by that definition of leadership and no other definition, I'm not talking about who is a good leader. Okay, let's be very honest. Has any of you heard the song मैंने selfie ले लिया आज, सर पे मेरे रख दिया ताज? Have you heard that song or heard about something like that? Yeah? Who sang that horrible song? Who was also a Big Boss participant? Does anyone know? Okay, I hope not. So a lot of people have followers for the wrong reasons. Now tell me, Hitler, he had a huge number of followers. As per a lot of people, he knew the way, when the way, showed the way, did so many things. He touched, he inspired people to kill millions. He moved people to kill millions. Is he a good leader? Probably not. History doesn't view him in that way. But a lot of people in Germany still think of him as a great aristocrat. So how can impromptu speaking help you develop leadership and communication skills? Tell me. The answer lies in whether or not you will follow someone. When will you follow someone? Will you follow someone? Someone comes and says, "Yo, I can teach you dancing." Will you just listen to him and start learning dancing? If Hrithik Roshan comes and says, "I will teach you dancing," will you probably think, "Yeah, I think I can try that"? So leader is someone who is a subject matter expert. You will not follow anyone blindly. You will follow the instructions of your teacher because he is your teacher. Will you follow the instructions of someone who says and claims he is a teacher? No. You would verify credentials, right? So how can impromptu speaking help you develop communication and leadership skills? Any answers? I think I'm going to go over time today. No answers. Chat window.
If I may interrupt, Ayan, I can see Kunal Jain has raised his hand.
Yes, please. Kunal, can you tell me? I actually have shared my screen, so I can't see anything. So Kunal is not saying anything.
So in situation of a crisis, people will look up to you. And at that in that particular time, you have to think on your feet. And if you have practiced for a number of sessions or during the table topic sessions, you are already one step ahead because you know how to think on your feet. While others will lose the momentum, you can still have the practice and ability to think on your feet. And that is when people will look up to you as a leader.
Thank you so much. And that's an excellent answer. Honestly speaking, you will slowly become a subject matter expert. Imagine trying to go to someone and say, you know, why does this happen? The person says, let me get back to you like never. You'll never go to that person. Imagine going to a doctor and the doctor says, okay, just give me one moment. And then says, Alexa, what should I do? You'll never go back to the doctor. You have to be a subject matter expert. And to be a subject matter expert, sometimes you have to take on the spot decisions. Imagine some of the highest leadership qualities. Sir, we are being attacked, sir. Say someone says in the army, and the army officer says, just 1 minute, let me go to, and takes out a book and starts going through. By the time he goes through the right page, someone has already dropped a bomb and the person is dead. What I'm trying to tell you is you need to have that impromptu speaking ability. And sometimes it's not just knowing how to speak, it's knowing how to answer. It's knowing how to handle a question. Even that is important. You can prepare all the questions. You can have an excellent communication. You have all the speeches written. But do you know what question is going to come to you? You don't. And that is where impromptu speaking is required. So since you all believe impromptu speaking is so beneficial, I'm going to ask you, what can go wrong? So what is happening in this picture? This picture tells us what goes wrong. Despite all the knowledge in the world, you know, impromptu speaking does this, does that, helps in communication, helps in leadership. Something can go wrong. So what can go wrong? What do you think is happening here?
May I answer, sir?
Yes, you may.
So my name is Kunal. I think there are too many things that happen when you go on for impromptu speaking. Your mind is having many thoughts at the same time. And then you cannot decide which one will be the best thought to say. And in hindsight, later you will say, I could have said that. I should have said that.
Excellent answer. So you know already what the problem is. Superb. Diagnosis done. What else can go wrong? That's a very good answer.
There are some answers from in the chat box.
Yes, please, Panna, if you can just read some of them.
Yeah, Sanchita has said thoughts overpowering our tongue.
Very nice. What else?
Puneet has said mixing all the thoughts.
Excellent. What else?
Anik has said cluttered thoughts.
Superb.
Tajinder has said unclear thoughts.
Okay.
Mohit Jain has said confusion.
Confusion. Excellent. I'm going to ask you to stop right now. You see, the gears are not working. If the gears are in perfect alignment, everything is going to come out. But because the gears are not properly in alignment, it's going helter-skelter due to all the reasons. So how can we make it go right? First, by understanding what, as per research conducted around the world, are the top reasons. Only when you know what are the reasons can you make it better. Thank you, Harsh, for showing me the green card. I don't remember the timing that I told you. So green card means how many minutes are over?
15.
Thank you. So barriers to impromptu speaking.
So I'll just interrupt. We are already on the verge of 20th minute. I showed that some time back actually.
I just saw it now. I'm sorry. Okay. It was so nice meeting all of you. The impromptu workshop is now over. Now I'm going to directly go to question and answer. No, I don't care. Anyway, thank you. So first is self-consciousness and second is fear. Two very, very important things among the top 5. What is self-consciousness? Self-consciousness in front of large groups is probably the most frequently named reason people feel performance anxiety while speaking impromptu. And fear. You see, impromptu speaking has a lot of fear. You may fear that you look afraid even if you are not actually afraid. Then you may take a leap of illogic and tell yourself that once the audience notices your nervousness, everyone will realize you don't really know the topic. Say yes if you have felt any of these two in the chat window very, very quickly. Any of these two, self-conscious. कुछ तो लोग कहेंगे, लोगों का काम है कहना. ना है वो तुम्हारा
we've
भाई,
got
ना
lots of
तुम्हारा
yeses.
बहना. Lots of yes.
Yeah.
Self-conscious, you know, like, oh my God, am I looking this? Am I looking that? God, right. I'm feeling very nervous, this, that, this fear. You're so afraid that you look afraid that you actually become even more afraid. It's scary. Like you're so scared about watching a scary movie that you're scared even if it's not a scary, even if nothing scary is happening in the movie. Or something like that. So many of you, most of you, excellent. So see, you have to understand what are the reasons. I'm going to show you 2 more reasons now. Past failures, discomfort. And I'm showing you two things together because obviously there are too many things happening in your mind. Public speaking is often a learned behavior. Means you're not born knowing how to speak. You're born like, wah, and then, slowly you learn speaking. Somewhere you failed. There's a saying, once bitten, twice shy. You failed at some point in an important high-profile speaking situation, and the seed of past failure, fear, whatever was planted. Second is discomfort. Self-consciousness soars when you're fearful about speaking in public, and along with that comes extreme body self-awareness. What to do with my hand? Should I keep it like this? Should I keep it like this? Should I hold a pen or do something? Should I keep it in my pockets? All of them has a lot of different meanings, which we will not get into now. But how many of you have faced one of these? That you tried some kind of impromptu speaking or went on stage and you failed, and somewhere that makes you very, very scared. How many of you have had past failures or some kind of discomfort when you're on stage?
Toastmaster Pratiti says she has experienced both. Shivangi Verma nods in affirmation. Puneet Sharma, Shilpa Agarwal. Shilpa Agarwal says none.
Excellent.
Puneet Sharma says both.
Both. Okay, so some of your face, I'm going to calm down. And last but not the least, something you don't realize, but you will invariably face in impromptu speaking or in any kind of public speaking also, is this: poor breathing. Public speaking requires a larger reservoir of air, for instance, in breathing for life. Your exhalation needs to be more controlled so that you can sustain vocalized sound to the ends of phrases where the most important words usually reside. And a lot of times you have poor breathing. Do you know what your mind does when you're afraid? When you are nervous, what kind of things happen to your body? What are some of the signs? Your hands are trembling, you're sweating, your breathing is labored, correct? You're like moving a little, you're like exciting, you're sweating, all of this, your throat feels very dry, all of that happens. But you know how you can make it better? Like this, by controlling your breathing, by breathing in and breathing out. I'm not expecting you to become like a Brother Ramdev and go like, no, no Kapal Bhati and all of that. That will probably burst your chati. I'm not getting into that. I'm just talking about the fact that if you can control your breathing, if you know how to control your breathing, and a lot of you who are into singing probably already know how to control your breathing, you will be able to overcome all of those things, because biologically your body behaves in the exact same manner when you're nervous as it would behave if you're excited. You're like jumpy and your throat feels dry and you're sweating and you're speaking very fast and you're moving your fingers. All of that happens. Breathing can control that and make your mind realize that you are not nervous, you are excited, and that can have a huge impression. So how has it worked? So how do you ensure that those lines, crooked lines, are coming out as light bulbs? Let's discuss some tips that have worked for a lot of people, including me. The first tip is listen. Most important thing, and something people miss out a lot, is listening. The most important thing you can do is to listen. If you don't listen, if you're not attentive, you cannot respond. And then you have to decide whether you agree or disagree. If you agree, you can reinforce the points. If you disagree, you can amend or correct the original statement. And finally, listening sharpens your powers of concentration and you become more effective. Now, do not interject your own ideas before the other person has finished. Instead, focus on what is being said. In a table topic contest, for example, how many times do you get to listen to the topic? How many times? Put a number in the chat window. Say, contestant. Okay, I now suddenly see the red card.
Aman Shaw and Anik is saying 1. Puneet Sharma and Sanchita is saying 2, twice.
Okay, 1. You're listening 1. So if someone says, contestant number 1, Panna, you are listening well. You are listening well, Panna, contestant number 1. Are you hearing the topic, listening to the topic once or twice?
Twice.
Not my phone, I'm sorry. In fact, I don't have my phone, it's gone. This is someone else's phone that I'm using and I don't know how to kind of make it go on silent mode. So sorry about that. The answer, ladies and gentlemen, is once. You listen to it once and the second time you're confirming. A lot of times what happens, the moment you're hearing the topic and before the topic is over, you're trying to think. That might not be the complete topic. Give yourself some time, listen to the topic once, confirm the topic the second time, and only then you should speak. So please keep that as a tip. Second, pause, very important. Pausing before you speak allows you to refresh your thoughts and formulate an answer. It can add drama, allow the audience to absorb your message, give them an opportunity to respond to humor. And a silent pause is preferable to using verbal placeholders like like, so, etc., etc. Confirm. Repeating or confirming the question out loud provides you with a clearer idea of how to respond. That's the third part, which I was mentioning in the beginning. And next is no matter what happens, you have to speak on that topic. So all the ideas in the world will not help you. Be enthusiastic, but stay focused and stick to the essentials. Don't give in to the urge to analyze every aspect of the topic. And finally, end. A lot of times you just say, okay, thank you. Not done. You have to end. Once you have said what you have to say, do not go on and on. Don't belabor the point. Bring your comments to a close. Emphasize your main points. Smile. Make eye contact with your listener if possible, in the right manner, not in a creepy way. And remember that to be able to respond simultaneously is excellent. However, it will take time and it will take effort, and you have to practice the basics to better yourself. So I would now like to ask you, are you a beginner, intermediate, and advanced? If you are a beginner, if you follow what has been said here, you will no longer be a beginner. But if you are an intermediate level, how do you ensure you go to the advanced? So if you are already, if you feel you're at a beginner level, how do you go to the intermediate level? I'm going to just give you some simple ideas. It's very, very simple. The first is, please understand, as I had said in my quote that I shared, the best of impromptu speeches are those that are prepared in advance. Go through newspaper manuals, columns, go through topics, go through opinion pieces, and write maybe 250 word, maybe essays, if you will. Or when you're going into a table topic contest, or in a club also where people are speaking on table topic, come and think about how you would have spoken on the topic. So have some ideas already. And if you feel this is something that doesn't work, I'm going to give you an example. Say, for example, I'm going to stop sharing right now, or it's okay. Say, for example, I for once know nothing. I just know one topic, that is a cow. I prepared an essay on a cow. A cow has 4 legs, it gives milk, it eats grass, blah, blah, blah. I'm not saying anything else because, you know, Hindu Rashtra, no other point. So that's all I know about a cow. Now give me a topic which has nothing to do with a cow, and I'll somehow bring a cow into the topic. Let's take that as a challenge. Would someone like to put it in the chat window? Or you can also just unmute yourself and speak. By the way, I'm really sorry, I'm going a little off of the time limit given because I
nuclear fission. Nuclear fission.
Sorry, what?
Nuclear fission.
Dude, if you're going to talk about nuclear fission, I'm just going to tell you what nuclear fission is all about, okay? Nuclear fission is nothing but a bomb that has blasted. And I don't know about you, but in India, the worst bomb that can blast is out of the backside of an animal known as the national animal of the country. Yes, I'm talking about the greatest of kings when it comes to bursting out. A cow, yes, a cow that has 4 legs, eats grass, gives milk, and keeps belching all day long. And if you don't know, keeps farting all day long. And that really creates so much of, oh my God, God knows what emission, that you don't really need hydrogen bombs to destroy a country. The environment is already getting destroyed. And the kind of emissions that come out of a cow are, it's going to overwhelm me. So if you want to really understand the effects of a bomb blast, any kind of bomb blast, just first start off with that lowly cow. So I don't know anything, but I still got a cow into the picture. Any other example? Come on, make it impossible for me to get a cow into the picture.
Shiva says demonetization.
Demonetization, yeah. A lot of people have been thinking about demonetization. Oh, how will it work for me? How will it not work for me? How do we cater to this? When it comes to demonetization, or for that matter, any kind of government formula, ladies and gentlemen, please understand, we, the cattle class, are just like the cow, irrespective of what happens in the world. You have to go and lead your own life, as if you speaking about it, for or against, is going to change anything. So my suggestion to you is just be like the cow and chew on what you got. Whether demonetization happens or not, remember what a cow does? It keeps chewing. And slowly things will anyway be normal. So be like that cow, you know, the one that has 4 legs, eats grass, gives milk. Just be like an Aam Aadmi, like a cattle class, as Shashi Tharoor would have said. And anyway, whatever might happen, things will anyway be normalized. So that's demonetization and a cow for you. So ladies and gentlemen.
Unemployment.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're ever worried about unemployment, I ask you to sell your house and just get a cow. If the cow is on that road and gets hit in an accident, you'll become a billionaire because so many people will come to your aid and try to save you. If you put that cow onto a symbol and stand in elections, you will win and you will become a trillionaire. If you are nothing but a poor farmer who has a cow, it's okay. It will clear all the garbage in your surroundings and make you super rich. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know how, but if you have a cow, your time is right here, right now, because India is the land of cows. No matter what you do, that same cow which has 4 legs, can give milk, can eat grass, can completely save your life. And even if you feel that in your life shit happens, learn from that cow. Take that cow's shit, that gobar, so to speak, and use that into manure, and that can really fuel your dreams. So don't ask how, simply get for yourself a cow. It will take care of all the employment needs of your entire family. So that's all I have to say. So ladies and gentlemen, if I can use forcefully a cow in any of these examples, if you actually go and prepare yourself on different topics, you can do anything. And believe me, it is possible. Because the greatest of impromptu speeches have been practiced and prepared in advance. Now, if you are already at an intermediate stage and you would like to go to an advanced stage, which is very, very difficult, and I know not all of you are. If any of you are, if you can please say yes, and I'll tell you how to do that. If you are already a beginner and an intermediate, so all of that I've covered. I've given you tips. If you want to go to the advanced stage, if you want to say yes, I will tell you how to do that. If not, we'll move on to the last slide.
Many people have said yes.
Many people have said
Sanchita,
yes.
Puneet.
So I'm now going to make it very, very difficult. You know the names Harsh, Sanchita, Puneet. I'm going to ask you to make it impossible for me to say disagree to a topic. So give me a topic which you feel everyone will agree with, okay? And all of you have to unmute and say, yes, I will agree to it, or no, I'll disagree. And I'll take it in a different direction. So give me a topic, Harsh, and then Sanchita. So first, Harsh, a topic that you feel is very one-sided. You can't debate on this. Everyone knows, like, you know, it's like a fact. You can't argue with a fact, right? So Harsh, a fact, something that no one can argue with.
Rape destroys the moral confidence of a female. Rape destroys the moral confidence of a female.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you believe rape destroys the moral confidence of a female, you are absolutely wrong. Rape is an action. It is your reaction that determines whether you want to rise up to face the challenge. When you're talking about a female, I'm going to tell you that India might have a lot of females who might be subject to rapes, but there are even more females, their mothers, their sisters, the lawyers who fight for them, whose confidence can never be diminished by such cases. They will fight back. They will fight back in courts. They will fight back by holding candles. They will fight back in each and every way till that perpetrator is brought to justice. If you believe a woman is destroyed when she is raped, if you believe a woman's life is going to end when she is raped, you are wrong, because rape is just an action, and it is your reaction as a woman that will decide and determine whether you are going to rise up to the challenge and rise up from that fire and rise up like a phoenix, or you're going to succumb and fall down. And ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you, forced sex or rape does not only happen to females, it happens to men. It happens to children. It happens to transsexuals. It happens all over the world. There will always be someone who will force you into a situation you don't want, but it is how you fight it that will determine where you go. So when you find next a person who has been subject to rape, do not think it's the end of the world, but think of it as a beginning of justice, as a beginning of ensuring that justice is served, as a beginning of ensuring that the world recognizes that, be it rape or widowhood or any kind of negative thing, it is not the end of the world. And we have the power within us, be it men, women, or children, to keep fighting back. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is the example I would like to give. If you really want to make yourself an advanced speaker, find out opportunities by which you can also go against the popular opinion. That difference will ensure you stand out from the crowd and you can take yourself to the next level. So would anyone else like to try giving me an impossible topic, impossible to disagree with?
There is nothing called charity. It is only popularism.
Huh? I'm sorry?
There is nothing called charity. It is only popularism.
But there is. I'm sure a lot of people would agree. Is there? Do you all feel, everyone, that you will all agree to this topic? If anyone says no, then this is not valid.
Kunal says no. Sagar says no.
Many people say no, so this is not a valid topic. Tell me a topic which is impossible. I'm making it very difficult for you.
Sir, may I? Sir, may I?
Yes. I heard someone say may I. Who is it?
Aman Shah.
Yes, please.
Sir, my topic is COVID-19 is fatal.
No, it is not. 98% of people are not dying in India. What are you saying?
May I give a topic?
Yes, ma'am.
So in India, women are being subjected to domestic.
Similar topic has been taken. If you can give some other topic, because I'll come up with similar ideas.
Earth is round. There's a topic, Earth is round.
There's a topic that Earth is round. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, if you believe the Earth is round and you believe what goes around comes around, you are in for a shock. Even what seems to be absolutely round is flat on the top. The Earth is not round. Welcome to Science 101. Because if the Earth was round, there would have been no North Pole and no South Pole. The Earth is slightly flat on the top and the bottom. And the Earth is actually a sphere. It's not perfect, because if the Earth was perfectly round, there would have been nothing on this planet. But all the trials and tribulations is what makes Earth go round and round and round. So while I agree that the Earth goes around the sun and the moon goes around the Earth, just like a lot of other things, is not round, because at the end of the day, nothing is perfect. And in perfection, when you find the imperfection, and in imperfection, when you can find the perfection, you will realize that you cannot simply wait for what goes around to come around, but instead take that step and move out. The Earth, or for that matter, any planet, or for that matter, the kind of planets that align your destiny, if you believe in it, are all going to be at different points trying to make you go round and round and round. But instead, if you are okay to fall flat on the ground and to be okay to rise up, remember that history, yes, that same history, that same mystery which keeps repeating itself can never stop you. Because you know that everything will come and everything will go, but you will figure out a way of coming out of it. So that is another example in which you can take an almost impossible topic and turn it around, because everything that it seems is not the case. But ladies and gentlemen, if you want to really take it to a contest level, it's very, very important to understand three things. Understand if it's a simple topic, an easy topic, or a difficult topic. Do not try what I just told you with a difficult topic. You will falter and you will fail. If it's a very simple topic, come up with very, very unusual examples. If you believe everyone is going to go for the topic, go against the topic. If it's a medium topic, decide whether to go for or against. That is why you need to do a lot of reading to see how it is, and give very, very strong examples. And if it's a difficult topic, just stick to the basics and speak on the topic, and that will really help you. So that, ladies and gentlemen, brings me to the penultimate slide. 3 things to remember very quickly. Be confident, be brief, and be sincere. You cannot fake something. If you don't believe in something, don't say that. Try to be as real as possible and you will emerge as a confident. Remind yourself that pausing is okay. Restating the question will help you steady your response. Remember, it is easier to stay off topic and begin repeating statements, adding new points or backtracking. Stick to your main points. And remember, trying to be inventive just for the sake of it, when you don't know the answer to a question, can be risky. It is better to admit you don't know and how to respond. So that, ladies and gentlemen, brings me to an end of the session. If you have any questions, you can quickly post them in the chat window. And by the way, I'm really, really sorry. The timing is awfully wrong today, but it was a mistake at my end in terms of the timing. I apologize from the bottom of my heart. Does anyone have any questions?
Toastmaster Sagar is asked, is it important to talk about your personal experience related to that topic every time you speak on a table topic?
Absolutely not. No. Then every topic will become boring. If you talk about climbing a mountain and you've never had a personal experience, what will you say? Is it possible for you to have such a varied experience? If the topic is about, say, rape, will you say, oh, I had an experience? You don't have. So please understand, topics can be those you may or may not have had an experience with. So try to bring in your personal sob stories or etc. is not always the case. Remember your maybe you felt that emotion, but might not have been in that situation. So I would like to answer the question that way.
Hi,
Hello, who is this? I couldn't hear anything after hi, Ayan.
Okay, there's another question. Do we need a formula for impromptu speaking?
Yes, and you have to figure out that formula for yourself, because if your formula is like someone else, you're a copycat of that person. Remember, everyone is their own. What I'm giving you are ingredients. How you put the ingredients and how much of that will determine how good an impromptu speaker you are. So you have to find your own formula, but please understand, you should be able to identify what is an easy topic, what is a medium topic, and what is a difficult topic. And I think that is one formula that always works, understanding the topic. If you don't understand what the topic is, you're in for a surprise. And another formula that works for me is knowledge. If I'm aware of about a lot of things, I can talk about it. If I'm not aware, I cannot talk about it. If I was not aware that the earth is perfectly not round, then I couldn't have talked about it, right? So that's what I have to say.
There's another question by Zilur Rahman, who's asking how to practice at home.
How to practice at home? Okay, just go through newspapers, look at opinion columns, and try to write maybe essays. Remember, impromptu speaking is an ability that involves public speaking as well as impromptu thinking. Now, there are two aspects to it. You don't have to practice impromptu speaking necessarily. You can practice what you will speak about at home. Another way that you can do is, a lot of devices are there by which you can practice. For example, there is an update on Amazon Echo right now. If you buy an Amazon Echo, it has an app on impromptu speaking. You can say, Alexa, give me an impromptu topic. It will give you an impromptu topic and it will chime you down. That's a great device. You can also use apps that throw impromptu topics at you and you can try speaking. You can, when you're trying to prepare for a contest, and this is something I did, I used to call my friends and tell them, give me an impromptu topic on the spot and you can speak about it. No one is stopping you from speaking when you're at home. You can practice with someone else. Practicing impromptu speaking alone is probably not the best thing because you need a little bit of feedback as well. But you can definitely practice writing and coming up with these impromptu thoughts on your own. Say around 250 words, give or take. So that is something that can work for you. Any other question?
Is it a good practice to repeat the topic? Harsh is asking.
Ideally not. I would say a better practice is to rephrase the topic. But if the topic is a question, maybe you can have the topic. Give me a topic that has a question.
What do you do when you go over time?
So you can always say something like, I have wondered a lot of times. What do I do when I go over time? So something like that is okay. But you should not say, okay, what do I do when I go over time? Okay, now if I have to talk about this, not like that. If you can nicely bring it into a sentence, it's okay. It's probably better if you don't, but sometimes you can use it as well. So at the end of the day, I have told you what I would do. What would you do, Mr. Table Topic Master? Think about it the next time you go over time. So that could be another way of ending it, indirectly talking about the topic. So that's what I feel.
As a good friend of Oyon, I would like to give one advice to all present here. See, Oyon is a fantastic, fabulous impromptu speaker. He is an impromptu champion. My only request to all of you, those who have heard Oyon for the first time and are already spellbound, which many people are, please do not try to emulate Oyon in any ways. 2 or 3 of Toastmasters have tried that and have repented later. Nobody should try to emulate Oyon because Oyon has got a different talent altogether. I think all of you have got to know that by now. My only sincere request, this is Satyadeep, my only sincere request is never try to emulate Oyon. Oyon is a completely different person. He's out of the world in table topics.
Thank you so much, Satyadeep. And I absolutely agree. Like someone asked me a while back, what is the formula? You have to come up with your own formula. Don't become the next anyone. Be the first you. Come up with your own inventive formula. These are guidelines, ingredients that you should put up. Like I might have a template about a cow, you might have a template about a horse. As long as you don't end up as a donkey, it's okay. Have any templates, try to put these things together, come up with your own ideas, come up with your own stories, try to be different. Great impromptu speakers are those who can be distinguished, who are different. So please try to do that. Okay, thank you so much. So if there are no questions, we will probably end. So thank you so much for giving me your time, and a lot of time. I have gone overboard and I'm really sorry. I saw the timing card very late and accordingly it had to be changed. My apologies profusely, and I'm constantly getting calls from somewhere on a phone which is not my own. So it's very confusing for me. My phone has conked off, so finding it very difficult to time myself. So please excuse me for going over time, and if you still have any questions, you can reach out to me later on, maybe via WhatsApp or otherwise. But maybe if there is any time, we will take maybe one last question, but otherwise we are done here. And thank you so much for the opportunity, everyone. Any last question, or are we done, Panda?
I think we are done now.
Thank you so much.
You were so wonderful, really. Every club should call you to give a session, to do a session on impromptu speaking. Superb points, very good guidance, and I'm sure everyone will take home a lot of valuable learnings from this. Friends, aren't we all feeling enriched? I, for one, am feeling very happy with a head full of new learnings and a heart filled with gratitude for all the coaches of today. Give a big round of applause to all the coaches, Distinguished Toastmaster Rudradev, Distinguished Toastmaster Shayak, Distinguished Toastmaster Chandra, and Distinguished Toastmaster Orient, who has done such a wonderful job on this vOrientation event today. And now I would like to hand over the virtual stage to who? It is to none other than the person whose brainchild this event is. He is the same vice president membership I mentioned at the beginning of the event. But before doing that, let me give you his introduction. He is a chartered accountant, Toastmaster, and new father in pursuit of excellence in all the three roles. I love this line. He loves the energy of Toastmasters that keeps him positive in professional and personal life as well. With a big round of applause, let me hand over the mic to Toastmaster Sheetal Kumar. Toastmaster Sheetal, the mic is yours.
Thank you, Master of Ceremonies. Thank you for that wonderful introduction. I hope I am perfectly audible and visible. Before I start giving my heartfelt thanks to everybody here, I am a VP membership of my club, and it is my sincere duty to follow that third virtue of Toastmaster, that is to serve everybody. And that is what I have learned from the fabulous coaches that we have today. Learning from them has been a constant source of energizing myself at Toastmasters. The first day still I remember, I saw Satyadeep Da. He is a bundle of knowledge. 13 years in Toastmaster, and the humbleness he has is something next to none. And that is why when this came up, he was the first one I contacted. And then was our division director, distinguished Toastmaster Ruddra. He's someone who we all know as the funny, Mr. Funny Bone. He has funny bones in all his body. But he has a different test as well. He's an able leader, a leader who will reach out to you if you don't want to reach out to him. He's a person whom you can look up for leadership abilities. I'm seeing that in my area, in my division, and I'm really thankful to him to come up with this division idea. I was just thinking for my club, but it is his brainchild equally as is mine. And further, I would like to say about distinguished Toastmaster Shayak. He is someone who has taught me pathways, and pathways cannot be made interesting by anyone more than him. He's from a different planet. Take it from me. He can add colors to any monotonous topic, and that is the energy he brings with him. And last but not the least, DTM Ayanpal. Words would be less to describe him. As Satyadeep Da has already said, words won't be enough to describe him. If impromptu speaking is magic, we have our magician. right here, right now. Time flies, they say, and I have seen that happening today again. You cannot restrict time, but this man has the tendency to do that. And with that heartfelt gratitude to everyone present here, especially to the coaches, I will really say you have made this event a great success and an endearing and learning experience for all of us. I will request every one of you, this learning will continue with the guidance of all the distinguished Toastmasters present here, new learners. We are all learning and we'll definitely be better versions of ourselves. With that, I would like to hand it over to our Master of Ceremonies, Madam Pannare.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Sheetal. I would request everybody to switch on the video and hand over the virtual stage to our Division Director of Division Q, Distinguished Toastmaster, Roychoudhury.
Thank you, Panna. Thank you, Toastmaster Panna. And since we are a few minutes away from our dinner, I will not keep you guys waiting. We've already overshot by half an hour. But I'd just like to leave you with one very small message, is that the intention of this orientation is not for you to retain whatever we taught. There were so many things that were going on. It was only for you to understand what is the essence of Toastmasters and how you can stop yourself from being stagnated. So when I was a VP Education, I drew out a chart of how many people began their Toastmasters journey by giving their icebreaker and how many reached the first milestone. At that time, it was the competent communicator, and now it's the level 3 or level 5 of pathways. And I found that out of the 23 people who gave their icebreakers in the past 2 years, only 4 completed their journey as a competent communicator. And I just don't want that to happen to any Toastmaster, because that is how journey half taken. So please complete your journey. Please give your best in the pace that you can, and continue your journey. Slowly is fine, but stopping, I feel, is not acceptable. Thank you so much. And with that, I will hand over to Seema, the host club president, to conclude the session and end it. Over to you.
Thank you so much, DTM Ruddra, our Division Q director, and what a wonderful event this turned out to be. This is, I think, one of the large scale that we have tried on new member orientation, and I'm glad that it has been a huge success. And it has only been possible because you new members as well as current members have taken the time out to come and attend this session. I just hope this has been a beautiful learning for you, and please be well ensured that this learning is going to continue. We will come out with various other kind of workshops so that you will not be in any doubt at any point of time. Please feel free to reach out to any of the coaches today who has taken out time and done a huge, tremendous job in trying to make us understand. So with that, I would like to thank everybody, especially Toastmaster Panna, who has been our MC today. And I cannot end without making a mention of DTM Rohan Nag, who has been our extreme pillar of support for VirtuoMasters Club. DTM Rohan, if you could kindly acknowledge your presence if you are here. Okay, maybe he came in between, probably he has moved out. But whatever said and done, I'm so glad that this has turned out to be a great event, and a huge round of applause for everybody, please. And with that, we are signing off today's event. Thank you so much.
1 minute. 1 minute, can everybody switch on the video? Mridula wants to take a pic. Everybody, please switch on the video.
Yes.
Say cheese. Okay. Just a moment, guys. First page is done. Going to the second page. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Mridula. Thank you, everyone, for the wonderful time. Take care and good night.
Thank you, guys.
Good night. Thank you so much, everyone.